Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is TamezTech and welcome to a brand new video. I'm hoping that this video will be the start of a brand new series covering my Go Battle Day battles. I did all 200 battles, and for every single set of those 200 battles, I used a different team. So that means I basically used 40 different teams in the span of 2 days, and we climbed up quite a bit. We went down and up and down and up a lot, so I wouldn't be super excited about if we got legend or not. But if we did got expert, we climbed up to, I think our highest was like 2830 or something like that. So yeah, we definitely had a lot of fun though. I feel like trying a bunch of different teams was really fun. We tried teams from the community, we tried teams from people that were posting their teams on Twitter, teams from content creators. We tried all sorts of teams. So yeah, I really do hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please leave a like and subscribe. This is going to be the start of a pretty long series. I feel like maybe a week and a half or two of videos, so let me know if you guys like it. Let's swap over to the battle screen, and I know you guys might be a little bit disappointed with the left side of the screen, no counts or IVs or anything like that. That takes a lot of time, and at the moment I am really busy with work and family matters. So if you guys do want to see that, feel free to leave it down in the comments. I can definitely make the work for it, but it would probably take me a little bit longer to get these videos out. But yeah, I do have, thankfully, all of my Pokemon have their ranking, their PvPoke ranking. So if you want to check out the exact IVs on these Pokemon, just feel free to go to PvPoke and look up what rank the rank 7 Bastiodon is and the rank 114 Malamar is, and so on. But yeah, without any more to say, let's check out these battles, okay? So once again, completely different team for every single set, and we're starting off strong, right? I mean, we're starting with a pretty RPS-y team. Basti in the lead, Toadscrew in the back. We see a pretty good lead. I'm trying to show all 15 battles, but the videos would be a little bit long. So I will cut battles here and there that might have just ended a little quick or a little bit too RPS, and they're not super fun to watch and whatnot. So yeah. We see Dewgong in the lead, which is pretty good for us. And as you can see, I haven't used this Malamar ever, so I actually forgot to TM it over to Psywave, which is actually pretty hilariously bad here. So yeah, we are gonna just peck down this Corsola, and this is still a pretty positive matchup. The only problem is that we have to time our fast moves a little bit better here, right? Where we could usually just throw whenever we wanted with Psywave, and I'm pretty sure we can't really farm this down anymore without Psywave. So this does make it a little bit more complicated than it should be. Thankfully, my opponent swaps out, and I guess Peck is pretty decent here. We've already put in quite a bit of work with our fast moves into this Malamar, and they haven't, so that's pretty decent, I guess. I'm gonna bring in the Toadscrew here. I do want to save my Malamar, and I had to throw a move there to kind of burn the clock. But if I can throw the Seed Bomb right away, I should be able to Mud Slap this Malamar down and kind of just guarantee this game, right? It looks like Malamar does get to another move, but we should still be able to Mud Slap down before they farm us down. My opponent swaps out into Corsola, which is a pretty good move. But at this point, I think I have just enough HP along all of my Pokemon to really take this game. I have so much energy on Bastiodon that whatever they bring in, I'm just going to throw right away. And I know that I'm going to be able to outpace that Dewgong at this point, because Dewgong is still 4 away from a move. So I am 3 away. I'm able to throw this instantly. And even if Dewgong did outpace or win cap tie against us there, I know that I can just get to a superpower with my Malamar and outpace them to that. So yeah, that's going to be a good game for game number 1. I had a lot of fun in these Go Battle Day streams. They were about 6 hours each, so they were definitely very demanding, but I still did have a lot of fun. So if you want to see those streams live, please feel free to go check out the Twitch channel. And yeah, on to the next game here. We got Dusknoir, and now we're actually on Psywave. Pretty good. I wish I would have thrown my superpower instantly into this fortress. Unfortunately, with Psywave on Malamar, they still really haven't fixed the light issue on it. So I couldn't really tell if that was a Scizor or a Fortress. Of course, if I knew it was a Fortress, I would have thrown instantly. But if it was a Scizor, then maybe I would have wanted to get to 2 moves, right? So a little bit unfortunate for us there. But Anyways, the superpower does pretty good damage into this fortress, and now fortress is just going to spam out sand tombs, but I'm just going to farm them all the way down, right? I know that Basti's energy can be pretty strong, especially when we have a Blastoise in our face, so I'm just going to throw this Stone Edge instantly. It does land, which is pretty good damage, and I'm just going to bring in my Toedscruel into the Basti. Unfortunately, Basti seems like he is pretty hard countered in this game. We throw the wrap here on Toedscruel, which honestly might be pretty big brain, so we can guarantee a farm down after a double shield here, because of course this Dusknoir is going to want to shield, right? Dusknoir is kind of like the most damaging Pokemon they have left. So unfortunately though, my opponent makes a stupid big brain play. It's so good. They actually bait with a Shadow Punch, and I'm like, okay, well, I can still survive a Shadow Punch, but they already had a Dynamic Punch, so very good play by them there. Man, they got me good. Unfortunately in the next match, but honestly, I really don't mind. I mean, we are Bastiodon, right? So what the hell? My opponent brings in their own Bastiodon though, so maybe I'm a little bit bitter now. I'm gonna full send the superpower. Basti does shield it, which is pretty unfortunate. And I'm just gonna double send the superpower here. If I can force this Basti to give me a shield or something, maybe we might be in a good spot. But at this point, since my opponent throws instantly and I didn't expect them to do that, I'm just gonna let this go, get a sick farm down with Toedscruel. My opponent brings in Gastrodon. My game doesn't let me throw instantly, and now we're just gonna be in a very unfortunate series of events here. I throw after 2. I should just over farm here because Gastrodon is gonna beat the Captai against me. So pretty good play by me there, but as you can see, I'm gonna get a little bit greedy and throw one more Mud Slap, 2 more Mud Slaps, and I get Captied again. So very, very bad timing for me there. I really should have just done one more Mud Slap and taken the knockout there, because I feel like my Toedscruel might be pretty strong in the back, right? And lo and behold, it really is. My opponent is running an ABA ground with Basti in the middle. I'm gonna be completely honest, guys. Most of the games that we saw today were, I mean, not today, but on the first day of Go Battle Day, most of the teams we saw were completely stupid. They literally made no sense. And I guess it makes sense, right? Ironically, it does make sense. Like, you kind of want to run stupid teams that might just cheese you up to victory. So yeah, a little bit unfortunate for us there. I pivot into my Toedscruel because I don't know if I'm gonna win that cap time. My opponent reads me like a book. So yeah, very unfortunate for us there. I don't think we would have mud slapped down the Gastro before they, the Basti before they smacked us down anyways, but yeah, maybe there was a win con there that I didn't see. I'm just not a very good Basti user, which I am proud to say. On to the next battle here. We got Basti into Caesar, and I believe this is the last battle of this team. So we are negative with this team, unfortunately, but I will say that after this team, we did go positive with every single other team that we tried. So very, very cool. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I do want to showcase 3 teams per video. So that should make about 7 or 8 videos per day, give or take. So yeah, we'll definitely see how this goes. But you really want to play out the 1-0 shields against the Caesar. If you are Bastiodon, you kind of just take that loss, leave Caesar boosted, but you get a shield advantage, which is pretty decent. My opponent brings in Cradily, and I know this isn't really going to knock me out or anything like that. So I'm just going to instantly pivot into my Malamar. If you guys saw there, when I pivoted, it didn't really show my opponent the HP on my Toedscruel. I didn't really do that on purpose, but if you want to try and cheese some very elaborate win cons, it's actually a very, very interesting way to play the game. If you tap your switch Pokemon as soon as the charge attack lands on your Pokemon, you will actually get this kind of weird error, right? Where it doesn't show the HP to your opponent. And honestly, that might be a really good thing. So as you guys can see here, though, I actually bank a superpower on Malamar because I am double debuffed already. So me banking that superpower is just going to do it for me. But yeah, on to the next team. We got Quagsire, Corviknight, and Galarian Moltres. Very, very interesting team. Honestly, I really enjoyed this one as well. We had some very, very cool games with this one. So yeah, on to the first lead. Not an amazing lead, not gonna lie. I mean, their foul play guarantees them a farm down, and my Aqua Tail definitely doesn't. So I kind of have to make some cheeky plays here. I'm gonna instantly pivot into my Corviknight, let them throw their superpower, and I make a really cool play here. I actually cap tie them on the Air Cutter. So this Air Cutter is going to do more damage now that they're debuffed, and I'm burning down the clock quite a bit. So this means that I'm going to be able to swap out of this matchup sooner if I need to. My opponent brings in Blastoise. I throw my payback right away, but my opponent is way too smart for that. They are not going to fall for that CMP tie, and they sneak an entire rollout for free. So a little bit unfortunate, but this team is an ABB team, as you have noticed probably already. This is a double flyer team, so you kind of want to bait out their fly response. And we do bait it out on Blastoise. I'm gonna overfarm a little bit here. I know Aqua Tail is really not gonna do much for me, so I'm just gonna overfarm and shield. My opponent has Corviknight in the back, which realistically is really good for my Galarian Moltres, but now that I'm going a little bit down shields here, it might not be for the best. My opponent makes a little bit of a misplay here though. They no shield the Stone Edge, and they let us get to an Aqua Tail, which is really, really good, because now we force out a shield and we do the most amount of damage that we ever could have with Quagsire. So pretty decent here. I'm gonna no shield the first Air Cutter, of course. They get the boost, which isn't great, but I still can't shield this because Malamar has quite a bit of energy and superpower is still gonna do more. So what I'm forced to do here is instantly throw my fly and hope that my opponent either shields or lets this go. They do shield, which means that I do have to shield this, and I have to make a cheeky play. I have to call the combo play to survive. And I do. I call it on Corviknight, 1 HP. If they did one side wave, we would have been completely cooked here. But thankfully, my opponent does not. So now, even though they did get the superpower debuff, and I'm going to get a lot less farm now, I should still be able to outpace that Corviknight or this Blastoise to a move. So now I'm just going to throw this fly instantly. This Blastoise fast move pressure is a lot more than Sand Attack could do to me. And these sucker punches are doing so much that the Corviknight is not going to be able to get to an Air Cutter. And we're going to be able to take that win. On to the next game here. Honestly, I feel like this is a pretty favorable lead. But unfortunately, Go Battle Day was not completely out of the lag. As you guys can see here, we completely lag out of this game. This opponent did come into the stream to kind of chat about what happened, and they said that they lagged out too, but they did say that my backline would have completely cooked their backline. So I really would have liked to see that game, but oh well. GG's to my opponent there. I really appreciate when people come into the stream to kind of like talk about, you know, what happened and how the game went and whatnot. So yeah, GG's to my opponent there for that. We see Feraligatr in the lead in the next match, which honestly isn't very good. I'm just going to force a shield with Stone Edge, save my Quagsire in case there's a Bastiodon somewhere. I don't want to completely throw it away against this Feraligatr because it's just a pretty terrible matchup for us. So I'm just going to bring in Corv. My opponent is going to chip and dip, and I have to keep in mind they have quite a bit of energy on that Feraligatr. I believe they have 7 or... yeah, I believe they had like 8 Shadow Claws before they threw their Hydro, so they might be like 2 away from a move, right? My opponent brings in their own Corviknight, and they Air Cutter bait for some reason. So now I'm able to bank an entire payback on my Corviknight and bring in my Galarian Moltres. Luckily for my opponent, though, they do boost with an Air Cutter here. I think I still have to no-shield this, though. Feraligatr doesn't have a lot of fast move pressure, but as you guys can see, we're kind of running out of HP here, and we're running out pretty quickly. I do want to save my shields if I can, though, so I will throw this fly to guarantee this knockout. And it is Gustlord in the back. Very scary Pokemon to see. Honestly, I don't know how we could still win this game, especially after they shield that. But I'm going to bring in my Corviknight into this Gustlord. At least it doesn't have a lot of fast move pressure. So if I can land these Air Cutters, we might be in a good spot. We actually boost with the first Air Cutter, which is insanely good for us because that means that this Air Cutter is going to put them a lot closer into maybe a farm down or foreshadowing maybe even an Aqua Tail. So my opponent throws a Brutal Swing, and I'm going to shield that. Honestly, I feel like that's worth a shield at this point now that I'm double boosted with Corv. Look at that Air Cutter, man. It did so much damage. I bring in my Moltres just to force out energy from this Gator, and I still have a shield. So I have to hope that if I farm this down with Gator, I can outpace the Gustlord into the double moves. Gustlord still was 2 away, I believe, from the double Brutal Swing. So check this out. Aqua Tail barely knocks out, and I'm not gonna lie, boosting there definitely won us that game. But GG's to my opponent there. On to the next battle here. We got Greninja in the lead, and I really need you guys to count how many leads we won this game, because holy crap, we did not win many leads in the first day of co-battle day. Very, very unfortunate for us. My opponent actually instantly throws with Greninja here, which means that I get a free mud shot. So we're kind of able to outpace here. I get the Aqua Tail bait off, and now I can just land an Aqua Tail into this Greninja. And that's really all I want, right? I want to land some chip now that I got the shield. I know this Greninja is very, very threatening for my backline because I don't really have a lot of fast move pressure into it. So I'm going to bring in my Corviknight. My opponent brings in Corsola, which is really, really weird. I feel like maybe they made the team read or something like that, because I have a pretty hard answer to it, but Corsola is definitely not an answer to Corviknight. So I guess we're going to have to see what they have in the back that might just be so much worse. I'm going to bring in my Moltres here, and I should be able to get a full farm down after shielding this Power Gem. I know Power Gem is going to do a lot more than, you know, a Hydro Cannon or anything like that. And yeah, my opponent brings in Greninja. I am able to outpace after one Sucker Punch because of the overfarm we had on the Corsola, and I'm just going to instantly throw. I don't really want to take as much fast move pressure, and look at that. It's Scizor in the back, and there's a very important thing to know about this matchup. As you can see, we get the farm down before them, and we were low on energy. So there is a bulk point about that matchup that you guys should know. So if you have a very decent Galarian Moltres, you might be able to get that farm down before your opponent. Anyways, on to the next team. We got Florges in the lead with a double ground backline. We got Gastro as the safe swap and Diggersby in the back. My opponent brings in a Cradily here, and honestly, I don't have an amazing answer here, right? So I'm gonna overfarm with my Florges. I'm just gonna try to look into these chilling waters, and we actually make a really decent catch. We make a catch of a Rock Tomb into our Gastrodon, which is really, really good here. Of course, they are going to be able to outpace to another move, so I am going to have to shield it regardless here. But if I can force my opponent to kind of throw their energy here, or maybe even pivot back into their Corsola, we might have some play. I want to bank a bunch of energy here. The switch clocks are insanely misaligned at this point, so if I can throw a Water Pulse and swap out into my Diggersby, I can trap this Corsola into this Diggersby matchup. And once again, since the switch clocks are not very misaligned now that I just threw one move, this Corsola does have to stay in this matchup for at least another 30 seconds, which basically equates to 3 charge moves, right? So I'm going to overfarm as much as I can, and as soon as they throw it, I'm just going to do one in the move. Unfortunately, Corsola and Diggersby are pretty slow Pokemon, so they are able to swap out, but they bring in Cradily, and I know Scorching plus Fire Punch will be able to knock this thing out, so I can guarantee switch advantage again. My opponent brings in Empoleon, and I'm going to go for this Body Slam bait here. I know this is kind of their last resort, so they are kind of forced to shield at this point, right? They don't really want to take this Mud Slap fast move pressure, and I don't really want to shield this because I'll be locked into that Corsola matchup, right? So I'm going to make a really creepy play here. I'm going to bring in my Florges here. I'm going to overfarm a bunch of energy. I'm going to shield this move from Corsola, and I don't want to throw a move myself, right? Because I want to make sure that I can trap this Corsola into the Diggersby matchup. So once again, I bring in my Diggersby into this Corsola. Corsola has thrown 2 charge moves, so there is about 15 seconds left on the clock before they can switch out again. So I'm going to make sure I overfarm just a little bit here, throw the move, guarantee a knockout or a shield. And at this point, this Empoleon has a very, very tricky time now. We have double Trailblaze on our Florges, which Empoleon definitely cannot survive. So I'm going to overfarm with Diggersby a little bit, make a combo play with my Florges, and my opponent has to throw energy here. If they let me throw the second Trailblaze, they're just going to lose, right? So my opponent does make the Cacti here, and at this point, I have to hope that Fire Punch knocks out the Empoleon because they will outpace before we get to the Scorching Sands. So I full send this Fire Punch, and thankfully it does knock them out. So very, very creepy and close game there, but we are able to take it regardless. On to the next battle. Here we have a terrible lead, Scizor into Florges. We have to pivot out of this matchup, and Scizor players love staying in with a Gastrodon into them, so they always love to throw a move here. They usually Night Slash bait, but I have gotten Trailblaze before, so I'm not going to risk it. They bring in a Azumarill, so honestly that shield definitely wasn't the worst shield in the world because Azumarill is kind of bad for us, but because my opponent stayed in quite a bit there, I am able to kind of burn out the switch clock. Unfortunately, my opponent makes a really decent play here. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but they actually Cacti us, which means that our Florges is not going to get as much play as I would like. But they full send a Hydro Pump, which I feel like is a misplay as well. Because now this Azumarill is completely dry. I can just bring in my Florges, overfarm a bunch of energy, and if they want to combo with their Scizor, then be my guest. But I'm going to have so much energy ready for them. So I'm going to boost myself with this Trailblaze, instantly throw the Chilling Water because I know Caesar's coming back in, obviously. And this Chilling Water will knock out, so of course my opponent is going to shield this move. And I'm just going to instantly pivot into Diggersby and see what we can do. I can tank a Trailblaze here because, once again, this Scizor is debuffed. But I am still a little bit nervous about the damage, right? Regardless, we do let it go. And we Cacti to the Fire Punch. So at this point, my opponent has to Cacti us to the next move if they want to get their move off. And yeah, they actually do Cacti us. So I'm able to shield this and knock out the Scizor, but unfortunately we're just so low on HP that I don't think we can beat anything that is in the back. And you guys are going to see it's going to be an extremely pathetic and cringe pick. It is Basti in the back. So many teams were running Scizor, Azumarill, Basti. It is just so boring, man. What a boring team. And I saw like a lot of trainers use it over and over and over again. I guess my win con there was kind of to try and bank a Scorching Sands, but I know 2 Scorchings are not going to knock out this Basti, so I still needed that Chilling Water, and we were just not going to get to the moves we needed. So very unfortunate loss there, but oh well. On to the next game. There's still a billion battles to go. And we got Florges into Gyarados. Honestly, a pretty decent matchup for us. Once again, my opponent brings in Cradily, and Cradily is kind of a core breaker for my backline and my front line. So I kind of have to try and make some catch attempt here. But my opponent plays it very well. They just overfarm my 1 and they throw the move instantly. So I'm just going to bring in my Gastrodon right away. My opponent throws on alignment here, and I have to shield this. Even if it's a bait, I have to guarantee that I can get some work done with this Gastrodon. Maybe I can get a shield back here with this Water Pulse. So we full send the Water Pulse. It doesn't knock out, but I know that Cradily shouldn't get to another move, right? So my opponent brings in Gyarados. We are debuffed, so these moves aren't going to do too much damage. But I'm going to instantly throw this Body Slam because, once again, all of these games, you're kind of just fighting the switch clock, right? So I burn the switch clock, I bring in my Florges, instantly throw this Trailblaze. If they shield it or not, I do not care. I know that they're not going to be able to farm us down ever, but thanks to that Trailblaze, we are able to get the farm down before they get to an Aqua Tail. My opponent brings in a Gastrodon, and I make a little bit of a misplay here. I probably should have thrown the Chilling Water, but I was too scared of a no shield here, so I am just going to throw the Trailblaze, make sure I can guarantee that shield because this matchup in the back for us is not great. Diggersby into Gastrodon, now that Gastrodon runs Water Pulse, is a pretty dominant matchup for them. They actually make a bait here, which I would argue is not very necessary, and then they try to make a catch, which I would argue is very dumb because we call the catch. So now we have a lot of energy on this Diggersby, and I can throw 1 in the move, 1 in the move twice, which is really, really decent for us. So here's the first move, here's the second move, and at this point, I just have to hope that I can outpace this Gastro with my own Gastro, right? I have to outpace the damage on them. So I stay in with my Digger Speed to force them to throw energy. I know that I can get to a Fire Punch on the CMP type if they're not careful, so I force them to do that. We Mud Slap down the Gastrodon, and very, very thankfully, we're able to take that final game. But yeah, that is it for the games, the first 3 teams of day 1. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like down below. I really need you guys to let me know if you enjoy this type of content. I have so much footage regarding all these teams, so if you guys enjoyed it, please let me know. I do have a lot of videos prepared for this, so yeah, thank you guys once again so much for watching. Make sure to follow me on all my other social media. I stream on Twitch pretty regularly. I am back on the YouTube grind, and yeah, I hope to hear from you guys. Anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow, and take care.